And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you.
In the 50 years since President Kennedy's historic appeal to idealism,
ask what you can do for your country.
More than 200,000 Americans, including Jess Smochek of Pennsylvania, have heeded the call to public service by becoming Peace Corps volunteers.
I was, going to go and do something wonderful in a country that needed help in some way.
Jess was assigned to one of the poorest countries in the world, Bangladesh, where idealism quickly met reality, and where she says the Peace Corps failed her.
The very first day that I arrived, a group of guys started grabbing me and started kissing me and touching me.
First day?
First day on site.
Jess says it only got worse for her and two other Peace Corps volunteers in the same city, with the same group of young men stalking her, but that the Peace Corps ignored her repeated pleas for help.
We didn't feel safe there. We wanted to be pulled out of there. They wouldn't pull us out.
But you asked to be pulled out?
Yes.
And they said no?
Yes.
On the very day a Peace Corps safety official met with the local police, Jess says the same group of young men confronted her on the street and dragged her down a side alley, where she became one of the more than 1,000 Peace Corps volunteers who 2020 found were sexually assaulted or raped over the last decade.
They slammed me against the wall, and they're calling me a filthy American whore. They started ripping my clothing off, and they all took turns raping me. They raped me with their bodies. They raped me with foreign objects.
But at Peace Corps headquarters in Washington, D.C., as was the case with the murder of Kate Pusey, officials went into damage control mode, according to Jess.
They didn't want me talking to other volunteers. When the decision was made that I was going to go to Washington, D.C., I was told to tell volunteers that I was having my wisdom teeth taken out.
Keep this quiet.
Yeah.
Now, current Peace Corps officials say they never heard of Jess's case.
I've not heard of anything quite so serious as that.
That a young woman was gang raped in Bangladesh?
No, I've never heard of that.
The newly appointed Peace Corps official in charge of operations, Carrie Hessler-Radelet, says Jess's rape happened years before she came on board, but that overall, there is not a widespread problem.
98% of all volunteers say they feel safe or extremely safe with Peace Corps.
Of those who are victims, who are victims of assault or rape?
Then there are volunteers who have been assaulted or raped who actually do speak kindly of Peace Corps.
But Jess Smochek and a number of other former Peace Corps volunteers who were raped or sexually assaulted say the agency is in denial. They all made the difficult decision to come forward on 2020 tonight and tell their stories publicly, to raise the veil of what they say has been an ugly secret kept well hidden inside the Peace Corps. Maggie Young was raped in South Africa in 2008.
He came up to me and he put me in a chokehold, and he held the glass to my neck, and then he tripped me down, and then he raped me.
Jill Hoxmeyer was sexually assaulted in Guyana in South America in 2007.
He dragged me to the bushes and was on top of me, and both of his hands were around my neck, and he strangled me. I couldn't scream. I couldn't really even breathe.
Others in the group nodded in agreement, as Jill told us the Peace Corps treated her as a discard, offering little counseling to help overcome the trauma.
You were given 3 sessions?
Given 3 sessions.
And goodbye?
And a goodbye.
There was no victims advocate for you in Washington?
No.
On your own?
On my own, yeah. It was too hard to navigate by myself, and so I just gave up. I just gave up.
Adriana Alt-Nolan was raped in Haiti in 1998 and says she still feels abandoned by the Peace Corps.
I've dealt with the rape myself, not through the help of Peace Corps. They never supported any counseling at all.
And worse, these women told us, some Peace Corps counselors and officials tried to put the blame on them for being attacked.
That I was a risky person and that I had in some way put myself in that situation.
I still blame myself, you know, maybe I shouldn't have had a drink or maybe we shouldn't have gone to dinner.
Just because someone has had a drink doesn't give anyone the right to violate them. And they need to stop telling survivors that.
Even Jess says she felt blamed for being gang raped because she was out late, 5 p.m.
I had to list all the things that I had done wrong to cause this to happen to me, and all the things that I would do differently when I returned to prevent it from happening again.
So it was your fault?
Yes.
Has the Peace Corps acknowledged to you in any way that they made mistakes?
No, never.
No apologies?
No. It was my fault.
After watching our video of the women, the Peace Corps' deputy director said the agency is working hard to do better, and then did finally issue an apology of sorts.
But you can imagine what they had to decide to go public, to go on television and tell their stories, harrowing stories, to get your attention.
Well, I'm very sad about that if that's the case. I really am.
That is the case?
Yeah, so I'm very sorry about that. And we...
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm deeply grieved by that. It's terrible.
The fact that you're willing to do this for our country and in the large...
As envisioned by President Kennedy, Peace Corps volunteers have, for 5 decades, served as the best kind of ambassadors for America's idealism and commitment to a better world.
I believe Peace Corps is still America's best idea, and that Peace Corps is a great institution, that we care deeply about our volunteers, and that we will do our best to support them.
What is the expression of time?
But somehow lost in the idealism and the nostalgia is how the Peace Corps has all too often failed its volunteers, like Kate and Jess and Jill and Adriana and many, many others.
I have 2 daughters now, and I would never, ever let them join the Peace Corps. I would never trust my children in their hands, no way.